Hi everyone, Amber here from Majestic, and I'm filming this video because on Thursday I am going to do a live sewing up the winter Crescent bag, which is one of my own patterns, using vinyl and waterproof canvas. So I wanted to make a video talking a little bit about how I cut out my materials. So it shows me doing that, but also walking through my thought process when I'm choosing materials. So for the bag, I am going to be using the smooth vinyl from the shop with the parrot print and blue waterproof canvas for the lining. So I talked to you about cutting that out, as well as if I use interfacing. And I also go over like putting on the zipper pull and talking about the hardware that I am going to use and webbing. So I hope you find this video helpful. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. Please feel free to ask. When I was beginning sewing, I had a lot of questions about materials to use. So I hope this helps you a little bit. And as always, if you like the video, I would love if you gave it a thumbs up or subscribe to my channel. It definitely helps my channel grow. So thanks. All right, so this video is going to be pretty informal. I decided that since I'm doing a live on Thursday, that I was going to show you how I cut out my patterns and my thought process behind it. So I'm going to use this vinyl here. I carry it in the shop. It is smooth vinyl, and it has the woven backing. So this is a little bit more sturdy than the vinyls that have like the fluffier white backing. And I prefer this on my domestic because I find it's thicker, but it gives a little bit more sturdiness, so I don't always need to interface it. So I'm going to be using that. And I actually had templates made from Kayla from Carolina Little Stitches, because I taught this bag last year at Tennessee Sew Magical Expo, and we'll be teaching it again, and it just makes cutting so much easier. But if you're using the paper ones, I do include full size so you can tape them together. And that's because, especially if I'm working with vinyl, I hate cutting on the fold. I always find that it's not as accurate. But you could also just use half and cut on the fold if you prefer that. So what I do is I'm lining my template up with the bottom and the left hand side. I'm not fussy cutting anything because I prefer to not waste material. I try to use like every scrap possible. And this is the only bag that I actually have acrylic templates for, but they are amazing. And if you have the ability to buy templates for your bag patterns, I can definitely understand why people do. It makes life a lot easier. I always accidentally like cut the paper pattern when I'm doing it, so. And you can see I try to hold it in place with my left hand and cut around on the with my right. Okay. So this is our first one, and I'm going to do the exterior front and back out of this Parrot Vinyl. So this is my one of them, and I'm going to have to cut a second. This is an 18-inch roll, so it won't fit. If I was using a material that was not directional, I honestly would just flip this upside down, and you can see that it would fit right here normally. So for less waste, I would totally do that. But I can't because it's directional. So I am also putting the front pocket on. So the front pocket template also fits here. So I'm going to cut from that. This one I might be a little bit more picky about because this really doesn't leave me much excess. So if I really, what I could really do is line this up. And I honestly think if I line up the pattern piece here, it might match if not perfectly, then like pretty darn close. So I'm going to do that actually. And you could absolutely like fussy cut even more. Let's see, I don't want to cut off the bird's head, so I'm trying to see where this would have to be at the bottom. It might be a little bit off, but it's important to me that on the pocket, if this is going to be the main, that I see the bird's heads. I don't want them cut off. So this should give me enough gap even with my seam allowance. I'm trying to do my thinking out loud, hoping that it will help some of you. And normally I do all my cutting on the floor. Like I don't mind sitting on the floor. And it gives me the extra space. But right now I have my cutting mat out on one of my tables. And I'm just kind of making it work.
Good.
All right. So I have my front pocket exterior now. Let's see if I were to put that. It doesn't line up perfectly, but it's pretty good. And then this is going to fold down even more because of the seam allowance. And then again, I'm just going to line everything up so I have as little waste as possible. I try to keep like almost every single scrap. It's really important to me that I try to use them up in any way possible. With like vinyl or water resistant canvas, I might use it behind snaps or rivets to give extra support. Or like little pieces you could use as D-ring holders, zipper tabs. If it's cotton, I also do a little bit of quilting. Could save it for that. So yeah, that's really important to me. All right, so now I have my two exterior main bag pieces, and I have the pocket piece. So one thing that I've been thinking about is I am personally not going to interface them. When I was first learning to sew, I was like, oh my gosh, the pattern calls for whatever interfacing. And something that I learned is that interfacing is really all about preference. And for me, this is sturdy enough with my domestic. I don't feel like I need to give it any more structure. And this is not necessarily meant to be a structured bag. It's meant to kind of like fold out and stuff and fill up with your items. So for me, that's okay. But if you want to use any type of woven interfacing like Pellon, foam, fleece, you can play around with it and find what works for you. And then a lot of the small shops have their own brand of interfacing, and I like to use them because usually it's wider than the interfacing like Pellon or something that's sold in the store. And I have the clear template, so they've definitely blended right now. Okay, and then so for my lining, I am using a waterproof canvas. It's waterproof because it has that PVC backing. I do sell water-resistant canvas in the shop, but all of ours are printed, and I didn't feel like any of them match this really well. This is actually the Pro Tough from Walmart. I think it's really reasonably priced, and I try to stock up on it. It works really well if you need just like a plain waterproof canvas. And you can see, here's an example of me keeping every scrap. I opened it up and these are inside. So I'm going to use this for the lining. And actually, it's already folded. I'm going to do this. I'm going to cut 2 at once and make it even quicker. I found that using the acrylic templates makes that easier as well, in my opinion. So I'm just lining up the edges, trying to make it as aligned as possible. Great, so I am, again, lining up my bottom. For the most part, I think it's a, yeah, there we go. It's a line, and my right-hand side with my edge of my template. And this is folded, so I'm cutting 2 at once. We need 2 linings for the main body. And if I didn't already say it, this is the regular size winter crescent bag. There's also an extra wide version as well. And I like this bag. It's enough for me to hold like my wallet, my keys, some like chapsticks, anything that like small. I really like it if I go to concerts and I don't need like a clear bag. Using it as a crossbody, it's small enough that even if I'm in the crowd, I feel like it doesn't get in the way. Okay, so I have my 2 main linings, and now I'm going to need a pocket lining. I did do that exterior, so the exterior pocket needs a lining, and I'm going to do 2 interior, so I actually need to cut 3 of these. So first thing I'm going to do is line this up again so I can cut 2 at once since I need 3. And again, you can see that I'm bringing it as low as I can to fit this pocket piece in, giving me as little waste as possible. Okay, so I have 2 lining pieces. I need my 3rd. And this here, I think if I just open this up, I'll be able to fit. Yeah, definitely will. I'm trying to prepare as much as possible for the live because I like to have everything right there ready to go. But when I'm home sewing by myself, I do this, like I might cut out the bag and interface it, but I'll grab and cut my strap separately. I'll cut out my zipper, but I'm trying to show you my process behind all of that. Yeah. All right, so now I have my 3rd piece. Okay, so if you are going to follow along or you want to sew the bag in the future, you should have your 2 exterior main panel pieces, an exterior pocket piece, and a lining, 2 main or like the large size bag lining pieces, and 2 interior pocket pieces. And if you want to interface any of them, you're going to cut the interfacing to the same exact size, unless you're using a domestic and you feel like you might need to leave it out of your seams. If you have questions about any of the interfacing, you could put them in the comments or whatever, and I'll try to answer them. Or in my Facebook group, definitely feel free to ask there. All right, so that's for the cutting. And now I'm going to grab what I need for webbing and zipper, and I'll show you that. Okay, so I have now cut my zipper tape to the given lengths in the pattern, and I am using this Parrot pull. Everything that I show you, we carry in the shop. So our Parrots right now are only in silver or rainbow. If it's something that you're interested in, we'll add more colors. But those were the two most popular. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my pull to my zipper tape. I always start on the right hand side. Even though this tooth isn't cut a little bit higher, we'll see if I can get it. I might have to reverse it. And over time, I've just had practice that I'm able to put it on with my hands. I think it's mostly. Oh no, there's a little bubble here, so let me try it again. Usually I cut my tooth on the right hand side a little bit higher. This one just happened to be on the left. Oh, there we go. So our zipper will be ready. You can use a lighter and burn the edges on nylon pulls. They'll just melt. Nylon zipper tape will just melt. Something that I forgot to mention is we are going to need a zipper tab on one end. So if I was using cotton woven, I would do the 4-fold method and usually cut this in a 2-inch by 2-inch square. But because I'm using vinyl, on a domestic, it's going to be too thick. So I just cut it 1.5 by 2 inches. And I cut it a little bit longer because I prefer to have that extra on the edge that I can cut off afterwards. And I did 1.5 inches instead of 1 because I wanted to make sure that this folds over enough that I really catch the zipper in my stitch line. I don't want it accidentally pulling out later on. So you're going to need this zipper tab as well. And I have my 2 snap hooks. I have a slider, which is a fixed slider, so that bar does not move. I find it works better with seatbelt webbing, doesn't slide as much. And you can use D-rings. I have extra rectangle rings, so that's what I'm going to use. And I don't know how well you can tell, but these are the thicker kind. All of these I carry in the shop. I prefer the thicker. I feel the thinner ones, I feel like I can snap with my hand. So that's all about preference. And the matching snap hooks. The base isn't quite as thick on these, but they still feel super sturdy and I don't feel like I can snap them. So I'm also going to use webbing for the D-ring connectors, or in this case, the square rings. And so I'm going to cut each of them at 2 inches long, maybe. I think I'm going to do 5 inches. I'm going to cut 5 inches and then cut that in half. So 2.5 inches long. It will give me enough space that I like to be able to maneuver my D-rings. Okay, so each of these are now 2.5 inches long. I'll be able to insert them into the bag and give me enough space to top stitch near that square ring and also catch the edges. And this is just black seatbelt webbing that I carry in the shop. And I'm going to also do a crossbody strap. You could make this a shoulder bag. You could cut any type of strap. So I like to cut mine at 60 inches. So I know this is not going to be all in the camera, but I put my end at the 36 of the yardstick, come around, go all the way to the 24, and then cut approximately where the 24 is. I'm short, I'm only 5'2", but I do prefer 60 inches. Gives me plenty of wiggle room, but everybody has their own preference. I just find that this 60 inches works really well for a variety of body sizes. And then, so that is pretty much all we need. I am going to add in, I'm just grabbing them off camera. I'm either going to use these Chicago screws or rivets. I haven't decided yet. And I'm going to use these where I sew up the internal pocket. And I haven't decided if I want to use a rivet on the outside or a snap. I have these snaps here, metal ones, or the can snap ones. I do like when my pocket in the front is able to pop open. So these are all optional things that you might want to consider using when we do this, or when we sew up the bag. So I hope you found this helpful. It's a little bit of my thought process behind making a bag. Please feel free to ask any questions. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me while I cut out the materials and prepare for the live. If you're seeing this today, then the live's not posted yet, so I hope you'll be able to tune in and join in the live in the chat, or if it's already recorded by the time you see this, that you watch it and let me know what you think. As always, I would love if you subscribe to my channel or give me a thumbs up. It does help my channel grow. And please feel free to join any of my social media. If you have questions or comments, I'm more than happy to answer, or you can leave them in the comments here on YouTube and I try to get back to everybody. Thanks. Bye.